is not going to help each other, because either they ill or they are going to worry that if I'm going to help someone, I could get infected. So on that time, we need those machines, we need those things that is going to help us to okay. So that is the first priority that we need to understand. I think the internet is unstable right now. Okay, it's okay. Yeah. My audio is audible for everyone. Is it clear? Can you able to see the screen? Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you. So right now we are going to talk about one more thing. Place where we can build some huge constructions. So on that time, we need some kind of terrain mapping, we need aerial photography, we need a site mapping from a certain height. On that time, you cannot borrow a huge helicopter to do that, because it's gonna huge costly. And the most important thing, you cannot put that huge helicopter everywhere so to do the photography. So I think you having some glitch at your end. It could be possible, because it's representing me that uh, my network is lagging right now, I think. Okay, it could be possible. So now we are going to talk about, that is the use of drone. Okay, that we are going to get the benefit from these drones. Okay, first point we are going to talk about. Now the second point is that how the drone is going to get its position. Network is unstable. Yes, I think yes, it is possible my network is unstable, because I saw the message in my screen. Two times it's going to pop out to me that my network is not good right now. It is Wi-Fi that I think not working properly. Very much possible, but I hope you can able to see the screen and the voice is audible. Okay, so what I'm trying to say, let's consider that how we can build the entire system of the drone. And before we are start building, we have to understand how many type of drone is available, what kind of drone is used. No voice is not over there. I think the voice is probably the voice is okay. I think the voice is audible. You are audible. Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, so right now we are going to talk about the difference between UAV and a drone. That is the biggest misconception in every person, that they think that every drone is a UAV, or all UAVs are drone. Okay, so let me clear this out first. That what is the difference between the drone and UAV? What are the difference? So first of all, we have to understand what is drone. Drone means, I already told you, a vehicle that can control by the remote or controlled by a intelligent software present in the machine. The person is not physically present over there. Means it could be a boat, it could be a flying object, or it could be a car also. So that is a drone. Okay. But if I'm talking about UAV means the unmanned aerial vehicle. The name represents its aerial. Aerial means it has to fly. Okay, it has to fly. No boat come over there, no cars, no tanks. Those vehicles which can able to fly will consider as a UAV section. So we can say that all drones are UAV. We can say that all drones are UAV, but we cannot say that all UAVs are drone. Okay? Please explain again. Yes, definitely. I'm going to explain it again. So, if I'm talking about a drone means a vehicle that could be an aircraft, that could be a multi-rotor, it could be anything. Or it could be a ship also. It could be a tank also. Okay? So if I'm talking about drone means there are multiple type of vehicles we are talking about. Ship, aircraft, amphibian device. Means it is not necessary the vehicle could fly. Remember one thing. It is not necessary that vehicle could fly. We can tell that is drone. But if I'm saying what about UAV? UAV has to be flying. That is the point. Means UAV has to be fly. So how we can represent the information? Most of the time we say this is the drone, this is drone, this is drone. No, that is not drone. This is the not the complete name. If you represent that this is drone UAV or drone ship, this is a drone car, or this is a drone amphibian vehicle, that you have to explain what kind of drone we are talking about right now, what vehicle we are talking about right now. So this session actually, if I'm talking about this session actually, we are going to talk about drone UAVs, means the vehicle that can fly. Okay, so that could be the specific name. So we are using word drone for unmanned vehicle. Yes, we are using drone unmanned vehicle. Why? Okay. So actually, there is a long thing, it means a long concept behind it, why we are telling that. Let me put you on a history first, that from where the drone word comes and why it is going to represent it like this. So in later on, we are going to discuss about it. Yes, definitely we are going to elaborate that point. So right now, that is the first thing we have to understand, that if we are talking about a drone, okay, so it means it could be any vehicle. So we have to specific with it what drone we are talking about. We are talking about drone UAVs, okay, means unmanned aerial vehicle. So that is the point I need to represent first, that is the concept we have to understand. Drone is not only the vehicle that can fly. Okay, remember everyone that point. Next, now we are going to understand how many types of UAV drone we are going to talk about. That is the concept we have to understand. So before we are going to understand that point, we have to clear one more thing, that in most of the case, people think that in UAVs, it is possible that all the time a person can control it. And for example, we are sitting in America and they are bombing by the help of drone in Iraq and Iran. How they are going to get control from that point? That is the very basic question actually. One of the biggest point we have to understand, means the range and the coverage area is extremely high. So how, means I'm talking about that drone. If the image is visible to you, I'm talking about this drone. Okay, this is one of the most powerful drone America using right now for surveillance and dropping short range missiles. They can deploy it over there. But the question is that how they can do this. So listen up first. In this drone, there is a intelligence software is also working for them. Okay. Most of the case, they having the satellite command and satellite communication with this drone. Okay, means they are directly communicate with microwave to this drone. Okay, but the thing is that in some case they need to cut off the connections. In some case they need to cut off the connection, or in some case the connection could get lost. Okay, so on the time the connection is not available, the commands are not available, so there are some preloaded instruction present in the brain of that drone. The brain is very specific, very precise. Technically, in simple word, in layman words, we can say there is a AI is working in this drone. Okay, so what's happening? They have the geo coordinates, they have the location, they have everything inside the drone. So what's happening on that time? When the drone is on its mission and the communication has been lost and the drone doesn't have any RTL command, listen up very carefully. Don't have any RTL command. Now, what is RTL? In this drone session, we are going to learn these things first. RTL means return to launch. It is known as return to home also, because when we are building our drone, we have to put the RTL settings in it also. For example, you lost the radio communication, you drop the radio broken, or it is very much possible the trans receiver is going to damage by some reason, then what will happen? The drone is going to lose? No. If we have a GPS on our drone, then what will happen? We can put the drone in RTL mode. Means what happening over there? Drone is going to back the position from where it is launch, or it is going to get the takeoff. Okay, means technically the drone is automatically coming to the home. That is the point. This is known as RTL, return to launch. So these drones are very precise, very advanced. They having their own brain, own mind. If they have the mission, if they don't have any kind of control commands from the user or the person who's remotely controlled it, they can operate themselves by their own. They complete the mission, they get the pictures. If you want to deploy something, it is going to deploy means drop the bomb or drop something that you want to drop over there. So it is possible that they can work on their own and then go back to the launch position. Okay, that is the point I need to explain you. So right now we are moving forward to the next slide. Right now, we are going to talk about the different type of drones we have. Remember one thing. Again, I'm speaking this point. This session is not only about the theories. First, we are going to understand each and every aspect of the concept, that what kind of drone we have, how they working, what principle behind of these things, what are the mechanisms, what hardware they are going to use to build these things. Then at the end of the point, end of the session, we are going to build the hardware also. Okay, this is not only just a theory session, this is a practical session also, so that each and every faculty member can develop their own drone or own IoT setup and give the information to the students, so that the student get something different and something vast from there. Okay, so right now we are going to talk about fixed wings drone. Fixed wing drone. What is a fixed wing drone? First, we have to understand that everyone saw the airplanes. Everyone know about the airplanes. That is true. So in airplanes, the wings are fixed. There are jet engines, there are propellers over there. It doesn't matter. The wings are fixed. The point is that if I'm talking about a fixed wing drone, what are the benefit and disadvantages of a fixed wing drone? We have to understand first how the fixed wing drone flies. How we can build this. We have to understand these points. So First of all, we have to understand a fixed wing drone need a runway or need a basic throw or a pull so that they can start dragging the air to get the lift up. Okay, that is the first point, and that is one of the drawback also, because if we don't have a runway or we don't have an area where we can throw that, so on that point we unable to launch these type of drones. That is the first point. We have to understand that. But still, these are the one of the widely used drone. Why? The point is that we have to understand that concept. If I'm talking about fixed drone or fixed wing drones, so due to less amount of motor and the light body, and the most important thing, the efficient design. The design is very efficient, yes, because the design is aerodynamically. So by these things, they can fly for a longer distance than any other drone. That is the first benefit we are talking about right now. Second benefit, the power consumption or the fuel consumption. Now the points, power consumption and fuel consumption are the common things, are the two different things actually. If we have an electrical motor or electrical propulsion system, on that time we need to put batteries, and while we are putting batteries we are talking about the power consumption, means how much amount of power is going to draw from the battery. According to the power consumption, the mileage or means the capacity of the battery will set, or we can say in that time period the battery is going to be drained out. That is the point. Similarly, if we have some kind of engine over there, what will happen? Now we are going to talk about the fuel consumption, because there is no battery, there is an engine over there. Okay, so that is the concept we have to understand. So technically these drones are very energy efficient. They can fly kilometers to kilometers, and the most important thing, they are very stealthy, means detecting these things are quite difficult. Okay, because they are very sleek in design. And the most important thing, in this drone they can fly at very high altitude. Okay, these are the benefit. And the disadvantages I already told you, that it need a runway. The second point, it is very difficult to control. Okay, it is very difficult to control. And the third point, it cannot stay at a single position. Yes, that is one of the biggest problem in fixed wing drones. They cannot stay at a fixed position. For example, we have this drone right now. Okay, so now you see what's happening here. Just give me a second so that I can enlarge the image for you. There we go. So now we can see over here, there is only a single motor system is put over there. Okay. So what's happening here? We are going to shoot the drone through a slingshot or some kind of shooting device, which give a certain momentum to this drone. And after that, the primary motor, there is single primary motor thrust so that the drone can start flying in forward direction. Okay, that is the first thing. And one more thing, I use the word forward direction, right? This drone cannot put itself in a reverse direction. Okay, it gonna move always in a forward direction. Either you need to take a U-turn or you need to change the path, but you cannot get a reverse gear in this drone. Okay, that is one of the biggest drawback. Okay, so what I'm trying to say, in this wings over here, and over here, okay, there is pitch control. Okay, pitch control means there are rudders over there. So if you want to make turns, if you want to make some kind of dive, so what will happen? The rudder will change the direction of that aircraft. Okay. So technically, these drones, why we are using these drones? For agriculture purpose, means if you want to spray something instantly for in a large field, you can do this. If you want some inspection, what kind of inspection? Some kind of quick photography, but I'm not talking about drone photography, because drone photography is a one of the different thing. We need stability. It's not gonna hold it position. It has to move constantly. Remember one thing, this drone unable to stay at a single position. It has to move, it has to create the air drag, the thrust has to be push the drone forward continuously, otherwise it's gonna crash. Okay, and one more thing, the drone is gonna use for aerial mapping. Aerial mapping means if you want to make the train design, or if you want to know what kind of train is over there, you having a video camera over there, and you just shoot the drone and it is gonna get a quick recording for you. Okay, means you get a recording of a kilometer to kilometer area and you have that. Okay, and if you having a surveillance in a coastal areas, in a seaside, in deep sea space, so you can use these things. So, and one more thing, one more benefit of this drone, it can fly at a very high speed. Yes, this is one of the most high speed drone that we can use. Okay, means it can travel kilometer and kilometers within minutes. That is one of the plus point of these drones. Okay, that we have to understand. Let's switch to the next drone. That is known as single rotor drone. Yes, technically everyone recognize that. So this is helicopter. We know that this is helicopter. Yes, we can say this is a helicopter, but technically the real name of this device or this vehicle is single rotor drone. First of all, let me explain one thing. This is the most unstable drone or most unstable vehicle, most dangerous vehicle that ever built. Yes, that is true. Why? Let me explain what's happening here, why it is most unstable, why I am saying this. Because if I'm talking about this single rotor drone, first of all, we have to understand how the single rotor drone works. What's happening here? In single rotor drone, there is only this blades over there. Okay, I don't know you can able to see this, so that I can put some lines over there. Okay, it is going to rotate like this. That is the thing. It's okay, fine. Let it be. But the thing is that when it is start rotating, it is going to put some thrust. Okay, so when it is going to give us thrust, then what will happen? We are getting a jump, a continuous jump. By the help of the jump, the single rotor drone can able to lift. But the problem is that if I'm talking about action and reaction, in single rotor drone, if I am rotating this propeller in this direction, blade in this direction, then what will happen? The body of the drone is going to rotate counterclock or the opposite direction of the propeller, because the body is fixed with the motor and motor try to rotate the propeller. So on that time, what will happen? We are going to face a counter motion. To overcome with this counter motion, we put another fan over here. So that it is going to put a thrust like this, so that the drone can put its position in a stable way. But why I am saying this is most unstable drone? For example, you want to make a turn, then that is the biggest problem. First of all, you have to change the speed of this motor. That is the point. You have to change the speed of this motor first. Okay. Then your single rotor drone start rotating its direction. Okay. And now the problem is that if you want to make it tilt, means you are going in a straight direction, we are going in a straight direction. Okay. And if there is some obstruction, I need to make it tilt like this. That is the biggest challenge we have to face in single rotor drone. Why? Because the wings of this drone has to control its pitch. Okay, it means the mechanism of this drone is very complex. First point means while the rotator means the rotator cuff is rotating right now, and while it's rotating, it is going to change the pitch of the blade. Means the blade is like this, and while if you want to change the pitch of the blade, if you're able to see the camera, now you see the blade is going to change the pitch like this, means it is going to tilt a little bit like this. Okay, there are some throttle, hydraulic throttle is present over there, that is going to change the pitch of that drone. Now the point is that to make these type of device is costly, very difficult to control, means a very specific and very precise pilot is going to require. And the most important thing, make it stable in a certain position is very difficult for the pilot. And the last thing, in these type of drones, if we put some smart software, we put a smart AI controlled software, it is very difficult to manage all of these things. Okay, so that is why these drones are not used that much amount, because there are some better option available for us. There are some better option available for us. Yes, that is true. So these are the cons. Let's talk about the pros of this drone. So the first pro is that consume very less amount of power, because there is only one heavy propeller, means heavy motor, and only one small motor that just used for controlling the direction. That is the first point. Second point, it can lift a good amount of payload. Yes, it can lift a very good amount of payload. That is also true. How? Because it's having a single blade and the length of the blade is very huge. Okay, the length of the blade is very huge. That is why they can create a huge amount of drag. Drag force means the thrust. So what happening on that time? They can lift a heavy object very easily. Why we use these drones? So if I'm talking about the use of this drone, one is the photography, yes, aerial scanning, surveying. These are the one of the very common use of this drone. One more thing that we using these drones. These drone can build very tiny in size, very tiny in size. Okay, means if I'm talking about a drone that you can build on the size of your two thumbs. Okay, that's it. You can put this drone for surveillance, means the person, or if you want to get some wildlife surveillance, or if you want to get some defense surveillance, we can use these drones. Okay, that is one of the best option we can use over there. But again, I'm speaking, that is difficult to control. First point. Second, if we need to lift a heavy payload, okay, so of course we need to make the drone bigger in size. So while we are make it bigger in size, it is very much possible the drone is going to hit someone, because due to the huge size of the propeller, if any reason the drone is gonna unstable, so what happening on that time? What happening on that time? Always remember, if you are traveling through helicopter, if you want to travel through a helicopter, remember one thing. When the helicopter start landing, means the single rotor UAV system or a helicopter system is going to start landing, then what will happen? The process of the landing has to be very slow. It is very necessary. Why it is why it's slow? Because when we are putting the helicopter towards the ground, then what happened? All of a sudden, if your landing process is very fast or quick, you create a blank pocket under the helicopter. Means the helicopter doesn't have any air to suck over there. Then what will happen? The helicopter suddenly drop and crash over there. That is the biggest issue we have to face while we are flying these kind of vehicles. Okay, so that is the point we have to understand, and we have to make sure while we are making these type of drones. But our target is something different. It's going to represent at the end of the slide. Now we are move forwarding towards the next drone, which is in a research phase right now. Yes, which is in a research phase right now, which is known as fixed wing hybrid drone, which is fixed wing hybrid drone. Let me change the color of the name so that everyone can recognize the name clearly. This is the name of this drone. So technically, VTOL. What is the VTOL? Vertical takeoff and landing. What is it? First, we have to understand. If I'm talking about this fixed wing drone, this is the first drone we are talking about. If we are talking about a fixed wing drone, I already told you it required a huge runway. Without the runway, it is not gonna able to fly. Clear? To overcome that problem, we created fixed wing hybrid VTOL drone. Now, what is it? First of all, we have to understand who is going to put a lots of effort in this drone. Amazon putting a lots of effort and doing all the research on this drone. Why? Because Amazon want that this drone has to be deliver their package and parcels. Why? Now listen up very carefully. What is the necessity of this drone and why they are building these type of drones? Okay, let me delete the text for you so that I can represent the entire concept of this drone first. So right now what we have here, let's see. Now we have to understand there are few propellers. This one, and this one, and this one. Okay. Now, as you see, this is the propeller present in a traditional drone, okay, which we are talking about at the end because that is the showstopper. Okay, that is the widely used drone we are talking about. Everyone saw these drones, which is known as quadcopter. So this drone having these four motors and simultaneously it's having one more propeller which is going to give its velocical speed. Means first we have to understand how the drone works. Let me explain for you. So first of all, we have to understand these motors is going to help this drone to put the vertical lift. Means all the drone is going to put the thrust in downwards direction. All these four motors, okay, these four motors going to give us a vertical lift. Is it clear? Yes. And then what's happening? This motor means this propeller system is going to active. What's happening with this motor? How this motor is going to work for us? We have to understand that concept. Right now, when we have the certain altitude, means we don't want any kind of runway, we don't want any kind of a place where we need to shoot or slingshot that drone. Okay, just put the drone or stand the drone in somewhere. That is why you see now there is no wheels over there. This is a direct stand. Okay, there is no wheels over there. Okay, so what's happening here? If I'm talking about the vertical thrust, these motors are going to give us a vertical thrust. So when the drone is achieving its certain altitude, okay, then this motor is going to start. Which motor? This one. So that the drone can move in forward direction. Now, first the drone is going to lift in a certain height, and now the drone is going to move in forward direction. So everyone think that that is the future. This is one of the best drone we have right now. Yes, technically yes, but still it is in a research phase. Uh, Promila, I think Promila raising hand something. Okay. Okay, so the question is that if it is so popular, innovative, and reliable also, then why it is not in use right now? Now, listen up very carefully. What's happening with these drones? What are the problems we are facing with these drones? We have to understand that one first. If I'm talking about this drone, we can vertically lift it properly. That is okay. That is okay. But when we are going to start move forward, on that time, we need to face some problem. What kind of problem we are going to face? The motor which help us to lift the drone, that is going to give us a huge air resistance. That is the first big problem. Either we need to cover the motor, means the motor has to be enclosed in some box, or it has to be closed in somewhere. Okay, that should be the point. Otherwise, what's happening if you are trying to stop these propellers, means these propellers I'm talking about, these propellers, if you are going to stop these propellers, then what will happen? This propeller is going to give you a unnecessary air resistance. First point. Second point, while you are move forwarding, it is very much possible the direction of the rotor is going to be changed. Some of you will say, sir, is it not possible that we can lock the motor rotation, or we can put the brake over there by the help of ESCs? Yes, we can do that. But the thing is that while we are in a certain speed, means why we building this drone? To maintain a certain speed. That is the first point. So the point, the time when we are at a speed of 100 or 120 kilometers per hour, then what will happen? The wings are going to give us a instability on that time. What wings? These propellers I'm talking about. These are going to work very fine. Means these wings are going to work fine on that time, because this is going to help you give the direction. But the point is that these wings are going to give us a very instability. First point. Second, unnecessary air drag, means it is going to resist the air. Okay, and the last thing, if someone says, sir, why don't we turn on these fans and then we can move it? Then what will happen if you are having a fan which is not in a proper RPM on that time? Then what will happen? It is going to change the direction on that aircraft. That is also a biggest problem we are going to face. Okay, so that is why I'm saying this drone is in under development right now. Okay, so that is what are the benefit? Means no runway required, it can take off from a certain place. Second, it it having the both capabilities means it can act like a fixed wing drone and it can act like a quadcopter also. And one more thing, it can deliver a heavy payload within a long distance. Okay, these are the benefits that we are looking for, and the drawbacks and the side effect I already discussed about that. Okay, now we are move forward to the final point, the drone which we want to build, the drone which is widely used, the drone which is the one of the most era changing device we are talking about. Okay, that is known as multi-rotor drone. Yes, this is the next generation of drone. Now we are looking towards the future of the drone. From here we are going to start the topic, because those drones which I represent, they are the part and the family of drone. It is very necessary that we have to understand about these things. But now we are going to talk about the vehicle that we are going to build for us. That is the point. All right, let's begin with the multi-rotor concept. What is the multi-rotor concept and how the multi-rotor concept works? We have to understand that entire thing in very detailed and very precise points. So let me start the multi-rotor. Why this is known as multi-rotor? Why this is known as multi-rotor? Because we already understand about the single rotor. This is single rotor. We already look forward to the fixed wings. So right now we are using more than one motors to build that drone. Right now everyone try to say, sir, over here we saw there are four motors. So is it possible that we can put two motors even though? Yes, that is known as bicopter. That is known as bicopter. So now let me explain in very easy language how these machines are going to build and how we are going to build these things. Okay. So first of all, we have to understand one thing, that the concept of multi-rotor is one of the era-changing concept, because right now we are going to talk about stability, we are going to talk about position hold, we are going to talk about RTL, we are going to talk about surveillance, we are going to talk about mapping, we are going to talk about delivering items, it could be anything. So actually anything that you are going to imagine can be done by the multi-rotors. That is the point. But which multi-rotor we are going to use, that is the question. So bicopter is going to help us, tricopter is going to help us. And why we called it bicopter and tricopter, what is the point behind this? Let me explain one by one the entire concept of the multi-rotors. So right now, why it is known as multi-rotor? Because we are using, I already told you that we are using multiple numbers of motors. Okay, these are multiple motors over there. Now the question will arise, sir, what kind of motor we are using over there? So technically in drones we use BLDC.
No, I think tomorrow
BLDC. Now the point is that, sir, what is BLDC? Brushless DC motor. Don't worry about it. Tomorrow's session is going to based on one by one. We are going to discuss all the parts and all the components that we put in a drone. Either motor, the controller, the flight controller, the accessories we are using, what kind of battery we need to use on it, what kind of propeller we have to put over there, how to understand the thrust, how to understand the pitch of the propellers, means the wings, and how we can put the camera setup over there. Sir, how the VTX is going to run. VTX means video transceiver unit. Means if we want to get a live view from the drone, how we can do this. I'm going to demonstrate practically. Means we are doing the practical thing also. Remember that. So one by one, we are going to elaborate all the parts, all the hardwares that we put in a drone. In from tomorrow's session, we are going to understand these things. Okay. So today we are understanding the type of drones, how they work, what kind of drone we have right now, what drone we are going to build, what is the necessity of it, what thing we are going to understand right now. That is the concept for today. Okay. And next session is going to help us understand what parts, what hardware, how to choose the motor. If you want to build a drone for your college, for example, if you want to build your drone on your own, on that time, from where you can purchase these devices, is Amazon is a good for us, or some other specific or dedicated website is present for the drone parts. We are going to discuss each and every aspect so that all point has to be covered on the basis of drone. So let's move forward. And one more thing, don't worry about it, that what is BLDC and how the BLDC works. We are going to demonstrate in further session with an animation that how the current flows, how the direction controls, and what is the difference between brushed and BLDC motor. So we are going to discuss each and every aspect one by one. Okay. Yes. So let's move forward. So right now what we have here, we have the multi-rotor concept. So right now, as we see, there are 4 propellers. Okay, no problem. If I'm saying that, is there any kind of other propeller system that we can put? Yes, there is. Just give me a second for you. Now you see, there it is. I hope you can see the screen. So let's understand about it. So if I'm talking about this one, okay, the first one, which one? The first one. Just give me a second so that I can put my pencil. So it's having 2 motors over there. One is over there and another one is over here. Okay, this is known as bicopter. Yes, this is the bicopter. Now, the question is that, so how the bicopter flies means if we are able to build a bicopter, because it's of course we are putting less amount of motor, less amount of propellers, so it is of course cheaper than any other. But the point is that, is it stable or not? We have to understand that concept first. Okay, all the images I am representing all are different type of multicopter. Remember one thing. First, we learned the different type of drones. Now we are learning the different type of multicopters that we can build. Okay, just give me a second so that I can take a sip of water. Okay. All right. So what's happening here? If I'm talking about a bicopter having one motor over here and another motor is over here. There are 2 motors. That is okay. That is why it is represent its name by. Fine, no problem. But the problem is that if we want to make it turn, if we want to make it roll and pitch, okay, I know most of the person don't about the roll, pitch, and don't worry about it. The third session on the drone is going to about how to start controlling on the drone. Okay, means the movement of the drone we are going to understand, because that is also a large and huge concept, how the drone is move and start maneuvering. On that point we are going to understand roll, yaw, pitch, Okay, rudder, how these things works. So we are going to learn about that. So right now, if I'm talking about how to move the drone in forward direction, how to move the drone in backward direction, yes, left right is very easy. Left right is very easy. But before that, we have to understand one more thing, that someone gonna ask me, he, sir, there is no propeller or a motor at the end of this motor, is this drone. So how we can control the rotation of the drone? Is it possible that we can control the rotation of the drone? First, we have to understand that how the drone is going to rotate. Which drone? The single copter, action and reaction. Okay, that I'm talking about. So right now we are cancelling the momentum produced by the first motor. Technically, what's happening here, if first motor is rotating clockwise, then on the other hand, this motor is going to rotate in counterclockwise. Then what will happen? They are cancelling each other. Okay, that is why this drone is going to get a stable flight, stable vertical flight. Okay, it is going to get a stable vertical flight. That is the first point we have to understand. Means it is not going to rotate on its axis, because both these two motors is going to cancel their rotation. That is the first point. All right, but the problem is that moving forward, moving backward is a very complex task for this. Why? Because if we need to move the drone in left and right, we can change the RPM of the motor. For example, if I want to make the drone has to go in right direction. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to increase the left side motor speed. So what I'm trying to say, I want to move the drone in this side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to increase the speed of this motor. Then what will happen? The drone is going to tilt a little bit and move in a certain direction. That's it. But while we are move forwarding and reversing, we need to change something. Means we need to change the wings, means the position of the wings, so that the motor can push it forward. Means we need to rotate the axis of the motor. Technically, this is the axis of the motor. We need to tilt it a little bit. Okay, we need to tilt the motor a little bit. Then what will happen? Now you see it is going to put the force vertical direction. Now the force has been tilted and the drone is going in forward direction. We need put some servo motors in it. So that concept make the complication over there. That is the issue in this bicopter that we have to understand. Okay, means you need to put servos so that it can move forward and backward. These are the points we have to understand right now. So that is the concept behind the bicopter. Now we are going to understand about the tricopter. This is the tricopter. How the tricopter works. In tricopter, everything is okay, but there is an issue of clock rotation or anti-clock rotation due to the third wing. This wing I'm talking about. Okay, means if this wing is cancelling this rotating, for example, clockwise, this rotating counterclockwise, then this motor is going to give us some issue over there. So on the basis of tricopter, we can say that there is a stability issue in tricopter that we are going to face. That is why the most common design and the most used design is quadcopter. Okay, that is the most widely used design we are learning right now, that the quadcopter is one of the best design we are going to talk about. Why? Everyone gonna ask, sir, hexacopter is a good design, octacopter is also a good design, because if I'm talking about hexacopter, so hexacopter having 6 motor means the number of motor we are going to increase, means we are going to lift a huge amount of payload. Similarly, in octacopter, we are going to put a more huge loads and we can travel a long distance. Actually, the number of motor we are increasing, the power consumption is also increased with it. Okay, so yes, we can lift, we can get more thrust, that is true. But the problem is that while we are putting so much amount of thrust, so much amount of power, we need a huge amount of battery. So on that time, what happening, the cost of this drone is going to be very expensive. That is the point. So the quadcopter is the best and the reliable design we have right now, that we can build very easily without spending a huge amount of money. And if we want to make a commercial drone, if we want to make a drone which can lift heavy, yes, we having the options, which is a hexacopter having 6 motors and having octacopter which having 8 motors in it. All right. So these are the concept. Now there is one more thing that I need to explain. This is known as pentacopter. Now, why it is known as like this? So technically, this drone is known as with one more name, which is FPV. What is FPV and how FPV works? Let me explain. FPV means you have to put a VR goggles in your eye so that you can feel that you are in a cockpit of the drone. Okay, means there is a camera present in the drone which is going to give you a live feed from the drone, and you can able to fly the drone by the help of that camera without looking towards the drone. Now you are a part of that drone and now you can go anywhere with this drone. Means right now you are the part of that vehicle, means right now you are driving the vehicle while sitting inside it. That is the point. Okay, so before I change the slide, I need to show you one more thing. Just give me a second. Okay, so yeah, and there it is. So if I'm talking about what kind of microcontrollers and what kind of flight controller we need to understand, these are the things which we are going to learn in next session. Okay, that is one of the most advanced circuitry we are going to talk about. One of the way advanced circuitry. This is not journal node MCU or Arduino Uno we are talking about. These are the flight controllers. They are very powerful CPU having a vast clock processing speed. Okay, technically we are going to dive into a vast information and knowledges right now. Okay, so these are another flight controller that is easily available, that we can purchase from open websites. Okay, and this is the Pixhawk, one of the most powerful flight controller that we can use, and most reliable flight controller is NASA. We are going to understand each and every aspect of it, but right now we are going to back towards the point which we are discussing right now. Okay, so let's back to the quadcopter. So that was the concept of multicopter. Means we have multiple motors, multiple propellers over there, and we can do multiple things with it. So the question is that what are the advantages of it? How we can say this drone is better than any other drone? First of all, this drone can hold its position very precisely by the help of GPS. Yes, these drones carry GPS with them. You can hold the drone in a pinpoint position with the help of GPS coordinates. It's not going to move. So while we can fix this drone, it means it is very much reliable for photography. That is the first point we have to understand. Then the flying time of these drones are efficiently good. so that we can put some items that we can deliver in a certain distance, that also possible. Easy to control, that is one of the biggest thing we have to understand. These drones are easy to control. Okay, they have their flight controller, flight software that is going to assist and help you while you are flying these drones. Okay. Second thing, if we build these type of drones, we can do multiple things like I already told you: surveillance, delivery, photography, 3D scanning, inspection, as well as we can deploy items and deploy bombs over there. Means if the defense want to use these things, they can deploy payload according to their requirement. That we can do. Now, before we are going further, let me explain one more thing. In this drone, we can put lots of accessories, multiple things and multiple accessories we are going to put. How we are going to create the connections, what kind of hardware we are required. We are going to do this step by step. Each and every hardware we are going to cover in next session. Okay, next 2 days is going to be the most vital session on the drone. Okay, because we are going to cover up all the aspects that we need to understand about the drone to build it. All right, before I finish this session, I need to explain one more thing, that there is few designs is also available over there. Now you see that there are some designs over there. Okay, so over here, if I'm talking about, these are the frame structures that I already represent you. But when we are going to put the program in the flight controller, technically, in a layman words, I'm saying, if we are going to put the instruction into the brain of the drone, we need to tell what is the structure of that drone. That is very important. We need to tell the drone what is your structure. That is the most important thing. So let me cover few things for you and why there are some double circle is representing over there. Just give me a second, because I need to contradict few things for you so that you can understand a concept. Just give me a second, copy and paste for you. And right now I am going for this drone, and similarly I am going to hit for this. Sorry, where I just gone, this one. There we go. Fine. Now we have to understand a very important point. Okay, what is the difference between these two drones? This represent octa, this representing quad, but it's having only 4 points of motors. What it gonna represent? How we can elaborate this? Listen up very carefully. What I'm trying to say. If there are double circle over there, where? Over here. If a motor represent double circle like this, always understand that means there are two motors upside down with each other. Always remember that. Means there are two motors, first at the top of the drone, another at the bottom of the drone. Okay, so right now they both are cancelling their each counter rotation. That is the point you have to understand. And in this scenario, if I'm talking about this scenario, there is only a single motor over there. Okay, there is a single motor. It's having one motor here second motor over here, third motor is over here, and fourth motor is over here. That is why it is known as quadcopter X4. But it's having two motor over here, two motor over here, two motor over here, and two motor over here. That is why it's representing quad X-copter. So technically it will consider as a octocopter. The structure of this drone is look like a quadcopter, but the functionality and the power of this drone is gonna meet up with the octocopter. So at the very beginning of this slide, I put an image. Now see. Now everyone see this very carefully. Over here at the top, there is one propeller setup, one motor, one propeller, and at the bottom of it, there is another propeller and setup system is over there. Okay, that's what I'm trying to show you. What's happening? One motor means this one. If I'm talking about this motor is going to put the thrust like this. Okay, it is going to put the thrust like this, and this motor is rotating opposite direction, and it is going to amplify the thrust and throw it towards the ground. So what's happening? We are going to get the double thrust by this setup. That is the concept behind it, so that we can lift a huge amount of weight in a structure and frame of quadcopter. Okay, that is the concept behind this drone, and these are all the different type of drone we are going to talk about. Now onwards, means from tomorrow onwards, we are going to talk about the all hardwares one by one, that what components is involved to build these things, what accessories we can put over there for surveillance, how the GPS is going to work, and the most important thing, that how we can build this, means how we can fabricate all the elements one by one with each other. That is the point we have to cover from tomorrow's session. So I already told you the tomorrow's session is going to be the one of the most important session and the point of drone making. So we are going to do some innovative things that we have to understand about that. So all right, I think that's all for today. Means we understand the different type of drones, we understand how they works, what are the necessity of it, and now we are going to study about how we can proceed with it. So thank you so much. All right. Okay, so embedded C code, very information. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for the lovely comments. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the session, because, sir, please, one question. Yes, definitely. Just ask the question. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone. Great session. Please send PPTs. Yes, all the PPTs will send to you, including the drone also. And with the programming and the concept part, means the program which we did, can I leave? Yes. The session has been done. And thank you so much, everyone, that we can conduct that kind of very informative things. And thank you so much for the lovely comments, everyone. Thank you so much. And see you tomorrow. Can we use IoT in railway signaling? Yes, we can use IoT, and I think they are using the IoT right now, because in Vande Bharat they have the IoT technology in running. So yes, thank you so much, everyone. This is a lovely session, and see you tomorrow with some more informative and more innovative things. And all right, have a nice day. Thank you.